If you'd like to try a new apple recipe, our office can provide you with some ideas. January is a time to tackle things we've been putting off. If you couldn't settle on a New Year's resolution this year, our next guest, Dwayne Stevenson, suggests that you consider learning more about Pennsylvania's new law regarding a living will.
Now, I'm eating my apple a day, so I'm doing okay. I'm pretty healthy. I'm 35. I don't really need a living will, right? I mean, a will is way off. Maybe 20 years from now, I'll start thinking about a will when I have some money. Then it'll matter. Sure. Is that right, or what do you think?
It depends on your moral and ethical beliefs.
Okay.
So it could be yes and no. So you need to review what a living will is.
Now, when we're talking living will, it's different than a will, a regular will.
Right. Really, a will takes care of administering an estate after you actually pass away or death, whereas a living will takes place actually for health reasons or medical reasons, so they're totally different. A will can't address what a living will addresses.
Well, tell me about a living will then. What kind of things does it address?
Okay, the main thing is it's going to actually go into the fact of what kind of care, if you want any care, if you're incapacitated or you can't, say you're in a coma, or where you can't communicate what your wishes are for health support systems.
What kind of things do I need to worry about then as I'm making that list? And is it for everybody? Is it something that you think everyone should have?
I think everyone should consider a living will. Some people may decide not to actually have a living will because it may be because of their moral beliefs. But the thing is, with the law that came about in Pennsylvania April 16th of 1992, it also gives rights to the citizens as well as protects the medical profession. Some of the rights that they're actually trying to protect for you is the right to medical care and also to receive ethical medical treatment.
Let me run through a scenario for you. So I'm in a car accident, I'm unconscious, I'm in a coma. The doctors say it looks like he's going to be in this coma. We don't know how long or forever. That's what they're telling my wife. The living will, what it does for me then, that comes out of a drawer somewhere. Someone says, look, he had a living will. This is what he wants done. Is that basic scenario?
Well, not really a drawer.
Okay. Tell me, is it a legal document, or is it just is it a suggestion, or is it something that the doctors are bound to by law?
Okay. Probably the thing is, if you keep it in a drawer, they never find it.
Okay.
So,
good suggestion. All right.
So the thing is, with a living will, it's a written legal document that actually portrays your wishes to your family and to the physicians and the medical care people, so they know what your wishes are, whether you want to have health support systems hooked up to you, because when you're in this car accident or in a coma, you can't communicate, so they don't know what your wishes are.
So you make a good point. I shouldn't just sit at home, I watch the show, and then sit at home and write out, well, you know, that's a good idea, I should write this down, here's what I'd like to have done with me if I can't communicate, and then put it in a drawer. Is it the kind of thing where I bring a lawyer into it and get an official document?
Okay, you don't need to have an attorney to do a living will, but it's advisable if you're having, say, your regular will gone over, to have your attorney review your living will to see if there's some aspects that you may have forgotten. Also, you may be looking at a durable power of attorney, which they can help you with this planning stage all the way through. And the other thing is, to make this a legal document, you do have to have 2 witnesses. And when you write up the living will, you have to have the 2 witnesses sign and date it. And then also you have to give this living will to your physician. He also has the right to reject your living will. So just because of the fact that you come up with a living will doesn't mean it may not be honored.
Well, let me ask you that. In Pennsylvania, is it the law, if I have a living will and my doctor has signed it, then when it comes time to make the decision, is he bound by that? Does he have to follow that?
See, the thing that the medical profession looks at as part of their oath is to preserve life. And see, with the law is, if the physician feels that he couldn't honor your request, when you give him the living will...
Before anything happens to me.
Right.
Go ahead.
He has the right to say, no, I can't abide by your wishes. So it's a two-ended type of contract. And the idea with that too is also the law protects life. It's not to make the health profession unethical and preserve integrity.
So where do I want to go? If someone right now says, gee, that sounds like a good idea, what would be my next step?
Okay, probably one of the biggest things a person needs to do is to review in your mind what kind of care, if you would like to have health support systems hooked up to you, if that's your wish or not your wish. And if it is, then you need to communicate to your family what your wishes are so they know exactly.
I mean, verbally, just sit down, have a meeting with my family, whoever it is, if it's my wife or my parents or my brother, and say, look, here's what I want when something happens to me.
Okay. Well, you can do it with your whole family, or you can designate like what they call a surrogate person that actually will honor your request.
Okay.
And you designate that person on the living will, and that's the person that you have to put trust in. They're going to be actually making a decision for you when you're in that hospital room and you can't make that decision. That person, you need to have the confidence that that person will honor your wishes and do what you want them to.
Should it be a spouse, or should it be a relative, or it's really just a matter of trust?
It's really a matter of who you can trust, and if that person feels comfortable with carrying out your wishes. Some people may not want to carry out the living will the way you'd like to have it done. They may not believe in it.
Is this a popular thing? Are people, is it a new idea?
It's really been an idea that's been around for the last 4 or 5 years, and probably the last couple of years it's been more popular because of the fact of some people being hooked up to life support systems for 2 and 3 years and never actually coming out of the coma. So, and several states have enacted the law, and Pennsylvania's followed along with the fact of observing the law. And just because you get a living will in Pennsylvania doesn't mean it'll be honored in Florida.
So it varies from state to state.
Right.
And from doctor to doctor, basically.
Yes. And the other thing is, when you're going on a trip, you should take along a copy of your living will. There's some companies that will actually make a small little billfold size card that you can carry in your billfold.
Okay, good. And you guys do seminars about all that, and Rebecca will tell us more about it.
Okay.
Cooperative Extension has a variety of resources regarding advanced directives and estate planning. If you would like to receive a printed publication describing the living will, or if you'd like to attend the upcoming estate planning series to be held in Northampton County, you can contact our office.
It's my favorite time of the year. It's dark most of the time, it's freezing cold outside, and the kids are probably going nuts with a thing called cabin fever. And I think, Rebecca, you have a few helpful hints to get us down off the ledge here. What do you have?
Well,
this is great. Did you do the art for this?
Actually, no. Someone in my family did.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I can't be proud of it. The whole point of this is an activity that you can do with your preschoolers or your toddlers, and you're supposed to figure out what's in the box.
Okay, I put my hand in
and you can't pull it out. You just have to try to feel it and figure out what it is.
It's lumpy and it's hard. I don't know. It feels like a bad apple or something.
No.
Can I look?
Sure. Well, one of the things that toddlers learn is through their senses. And I put something hard in there. With a toddler, you'd want to use something familiar, perhaps.
If I was younger, I would have known this was a teddy bear.
I put like a sock or something that's familiar. But what they do is they learn through their senses, they explore through their senses, and so you want to think of activities that they can do that uses their senses, because that's exciting.
Oh, that's
and
great.
the other thing that you want to do is to let them help make the box and help play the game. Another thing that you can do during some of the winter months is to make Play-Doh, and you can buy Play-Doh in the store.
Play-Doh?
Make Play-Doh.
Okay.
You can buy it in the store, but this is homemade kind, and I just want you to try it out.
Oh, this is great. Oh, it feels just like the real thing.
Uh-huh, and smell it.
It smells like Kool-Aid or something.
It sure does. It smells like grape Kool-Aid.
Yes, that's what it is.
And that is better than other Play-Doh because it appeals to their senses.
Now,
so,
I can eat this just like I can eat regular Play-Doh?
yes, and it'll taste like salt.
Oh, will it?
Yeah. So we've touched on a lot of different things, including the things that you can do with your kids. If you'd like to receive a copy of the booklet that has these ideas in it, you can write for 101 plus ways to keep kids busy. Or if you'd like to receive the apple recipes that we talked about earlier, you can write to Consumer Market Basket, care of Lehigh County Cooperative Extension, 4184 Dorney Park Road, Allentown, PA 18104, or you can call us at 391-9840. Remember, if you're interested, to also request the pamphlet on living wills and other estate planning materials and the registration form for our upcoming estate planning series.
I'm making this into a Macintosh for you.
Okay.
See that?
Okay.
Thanks for joining us this evening. We'll be back at the same time next month with more information to make your life a little easier, because at Consumer Market Basket, we're looking out for you. Good night.
Good night.
Consumer Market Basket golf shirts and t-shirts are provided by The Soccer Locker.